Welcome to PK Woodworking and our episode number 2 of the renovation of my Felder K500. So just to get you like up to speed here, there'll be a video that will probably pop up here that will be part number 1 in case you missed it, and we'll give you some more context. But I decided to get a few things done while you were off camera, and they were super easy, just put together stuff. So I wanted to just go over a few things. So first things, I did decide to get the parts powder coated. So they changed the color from that orange that it was originally to the newer, darker gray color that Felders all have. And then if you see back here, you'll see later, these two got powder coated, and they are the lighter gray color. That's pretty close, maybe not exactly, but that's the actual RAL color that I thought it was supposed to be. It's not exact, but it's way better. It's very smooth, and it's going to be easy for wood to move back and forth across versus what it was before. So then I just cleaned up and added the crosscut fence and the outrigger onto the arm, etc. So that's kind of finished off and out of my way in the shop per se. And then, as you can see, I got a box of stuff from Felder, and I got some other parts that we need to get this accomplished with. So I'm going to get you in just a tad bit closer. Pretty sure no one's ever done a Felder parts unboxing video, so let's do it. I just got it, and well, actually I got it a couple of days back. I'm recovering from a little bit of food poisoning, so today's my first day where I feel almost good. Anyway, here we go. So I'd say after I had a conversation with the people at Felder, got the parts bomb from them, and then we decided what parts we really were going to get. Maybe 10 days total for this set of parts to come. Only 5 days for the stuff to come from Austria, which is crazy. Okay. Felder usually does pretty good with packaging stuff like this. So here's a new, I guess, blade guard / dust extractor piece, which I didn't need, but you know, why not? Then I think this is the thing that's supposed to be bent and go around the bottom, but that seems pretty darn stiff. Anyway, belt for the scoring blade. Oh, new sticker for my X roll to replace that one with, since that one is massively damaged. This is what I needed. So this is the small little part that is used on the X roll to lock it in place. So this, I was worried was going to be hard to come away with. The rest of the parts, a little plastic piece, a set screw, whatever, I could figure all that out locally if that's missing. And then this is the handle that goes on said X roll. Bolt blade. Main belt. A brand new handle. So this is the handle that goes in front of here that was so badly screwed up by the, so this is what they did. And this is what it's supposed to look like. It has a tilt out arm that pops back and forth. You pull it and then it flops forward for you. Somebody must have ran into it when it was out like that. Anyway, that goes there and hopefully will eliminate any drama. Then this is the wheel that is on this other side. Oh, here's said handle. So this handle is actually the right handle. This handle that they put on here, I don't think was correct. Maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like this is the right handle, and we'll put that on there. Anyway, so I think that's everything I needed. So there's the parts from Felder. So we'll keep that there. And then we also got from Amazon, it needed 2 starting capacitors, and I ordered them from another place, and they did not come in like they said they would. Walmart. Believe it or not, Walmart sells stuff like that. So this is 2 capacitors for the starting. I got this dry moly lube to lube up some of the interior parts. This doesn't attract sawdust, so that should be great. So what I wanted to do though is to make sure I still had dust collection while this is all going on. So I have a grit device. This will be the trigger for my saw, and I have a plug down the wall for this. And so what I need to do is I need to cut this end off and install a locking plug that's made for my wall, something I would have had to do anyway, right, for this. And then put the opposite side receptacle on this, and then put the same locking plug that goes in the receptacle on the power wire for the saw. So got those parts right there too. So I think with all of this stuff, we can get started and going. And I mean, I'm sure I'm going to look at this thing and I'm still going to have other things I'm going to want to scrub and clean because I'm just ridiculous like that. But like we might as well get started and see what's going on. So I'm going to work with the electrical stuff first so I can get that all buttoned up, and then we can kind of move on to the mechanical stuff. Fair enough? Let's do it. Excellent. Okay, so some of the parts that I went and got at my local, like, kind of, I don't know, parts supplier, hard to replace exactly the same as what they had at originally on it in Felder. Let me show you. So Felder had this really cool kind of fat pan head Torx, and although I can get the same like thread pattern, the best I can do is like a cap screw. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to replace the 6 outside ones with these. But what we're going to do is I'm going to, if I need to, I'm going to put in a like a washer to cover up any of the scratches, etc. So we'll see how that turns out. But I think that needs a little cleaning. The next stuff we're going to do is going to be this electrical, so I might as well get this fixed up because everything's going to mount to this. Wasn't that dirty. Okay. This is the quote-unquote electrics box. Okay. Which I'm going to rotate around a couple of times. Anyways, I'm going to move the camera because this is going to be terrible. All right. I think we're decent here. Okay, so goal here is I want to chop these off, strip those, and then I'm going to add the capacitors in. Now they're bigger, so I better make sure they can actually fit, and we should be fine. Separate them a little farther, but they should be fine. Okay, so let's find the connectors that'll work on those. Oh, that wasn't good. So let's cut this off, I guess, and find out what size the wire is. It's not very big. Okay. This I've shown many people before, but this right here is a super cool way to strip wire that's in a wire. To take the jacket off the wire, I guess I should say. Again, no sponsorship, but I'm a big fan of these Vito Pro Pack bags, and I have multiple of them. I keep them in my truck. This one is like my one for wiring. It's got everything I do for like more high voltage wiring stuff. So strippers, crimpers, cutters, insulated stuff, you name it. So oh boy, here we go. I'm not sure that was the right way to do it at all. Oh, we'll get it. We got it. We got this. Okay. Okay. So let's move all this stuff out of the way and then go for a start. All right. Let's find a way to get through and plug this in. Okay, on modern Felders, you hold down the button for 4 seconds while you start. So I'm gonna take the same precaution. So here we go. Nope. Let's make sure that breaker's on. That breaker is on. It's always something. Ha! E-stop. Oh boy. Hold please. Okay, one thing I tried to tell everybody at the beginning was that if this right here wasn't pushed all the way back to where it was supposed to go, and that this little thing wasn't up in the position it needed to be, right there, it wouldn't start. So let's see if that's the issue first. Okay, here we go. That's not good. Next thing is to check these capacitors. Hold please. Well, you know when I say that like nothing goes to plan. So well, that's exactly what happened. So when I put this back in, I hope there's enough wire to do this. Well, I think there is. When I put this back in, the terminals for the caps popped off, and one of them actually came out of it. So it's obvious I don't have a long enough cable inside here. So I'm gonna get some different cables to fit through this. And I'm gonna extend these longer to fit to the caps. So gonna have to hang on for a little bit while I do some disassembly here. What we found was we need longer leads. So that's what I'm currently doing. I found some cable that's about the same OD to go through those cable glands that go inside of the box. So let's go ahead and swap those all out. Here to take them away. Number 2. It's a long time for the break. Okay, I think we're good. I'm gonna try to put this all back together now, and hopefully we're in good shape. So I know it may seem a bit crazy, but I'm gonna spend some time on that surface right there. Try to get in a little closer for you. That surface is the part that mates behind the surface of the dado. And so if it's got gook on it, believe it or not, anything that's on there can add to blade wobble, anything like that that could really possibly affect the saw's performance. So I know people don't ever pay attention to this crap, but you know, over this how many years this thing has been in the shop, I'm sure it matters. And then secondarily, we're going to take this apart because, like I said, I can tell already this has gotten out of adjustment. So we need to take that out, figure out what happened there. So let me go get the part that goes back on there after we've cleaned it. Okay, so this is the original part that you use for dados. So when you're doing a dado on this particular machine, you replace this with a different machine, and then that accepts dados that are as wide as this, you know, is right here, which, let's take a look. Probably accepts like a, I don't know, maybe a 15 mil dado, something like that. So 5/8 or something. When you're not, then that goes like that on top of it. This new piece will go on top of that to clamp the blade. And then I have a brand new bolt right here. And that brand new bolt does not go that way. It goes that way to actually hold in said piece. So anyway, that bolt is eccentric on the, that's weird. Anyway, okay, so we're not going to use the old one anymore. And then I'm going to take this apart. What do we think that is? 17? Nah, 19. Why be 17 when you can be 19? From what I'm told, this is the least complex thing ever built. So we'll see if that is indeed the case. And indeed it is the case. So this is what everybody says. This bolt holds it from the other side. Over time, these little ways get clogged up with sawdust, and then it manipulates side to side where the actual riving knife goes. And yeah, so we'll clean all that off, and then we'll come back over here. You know I'm not excited about putting down those interwebs when I don't have to, but they were right. These little things, I even have to get a pick to get that out after I tried to clean it because it's so jammed in there over time, and that's what creates misalignment for the, oh, that's gonna jack right into me. Wow, that's in there good. Misalignment of the riving knife. So we'll get this out of here. Make sure we got it all cleaned up. A little compressed air. Make sure. Hang on. Okay, I think we're good. Got our bolt, nut, front part. So let's see how this works. This slides on here. This goes through riving knife. Okay. I'll put the riving knife in. And just for now, we don't even know what we're at, but we can at least get her snugged up a little bit. And we'll see how aligned that is when we get a blade in there. Okay, I know I'm not the end-all be-all guy to fix a KF or a K500, but to get this around this, it's easier to do it outside of the machine, I believe. So I'm going to do that. But what I did is I took a piece of 2x4, put the actual ducting inside of it, because the stuff you're going to want to use anyway is the stuff that's got the metal like reinforcement, not plastic. So put it in there, clamp it tight, and then use a stiff mallet to hammer it into an oblong shape. And that's the way we're going to do it. So I'm going to bring it over to the vise over here and do my best to get it around this thing. So I put these non-marring jaws in here just for S&G. Probably won't work, but you know, see what happens. All right. Let's see how this goes. So I want to definitely have the wire on the back side. And I want to get around a couple. I think we're going to have to move this down a little bit more. Kind of don't have a choice to get this on first, the little band clamp, because I had to bend the band clamp one time in band camp to get it around here. So I want to get 2 wires around that side, and then this is going to require some maneuvering. See how this goes. Oh, this might actually work. Huh. Now if I can get it around that next piece of wire, that's where we're hitting gold. Come on. Come on, don't rip. And it would be terrible if it ripped. Oh yeah, come on. Come on. Come on. Too big. Too buku. Nothing like ruining a really good screwdriver to do this. Okay, we are over that piece of metal on that side. And we're looking pretty good on that side. I say we cut our losses, call it a win. This is the problem when you walk around with tools, 7mm. But I'm seeing it above both of the nibs, so I'm calling this a win. Win. Ta-da! Pretty flat on the backside. Let's do it. Okay, I put it back in. There's really nothing exciting about what I did. I did leave the hose way long because it actually goes through that hole, and then I can trim it to whatever I need. But what I need to do first is find out the full range of motion of the blade, and then also the full range of motion of tilt to see if it requires more of it. I don't want to yank it out of place because of that or break that piece of plastic on the back. So let me get a blade in over here and then we'll get it going. Okay, I've got a 12-inch 10-root blade fitted, and I think we're going to have something going on here with this a little bit. With this, not exactly sure how that works, but we'll figure that out. Let's get it tightened up. See how this all works. I am officially getting rid of the included Allen key. A nice 8mm wrench to get this done because I don't want to ruin the brand new one I just got. So anyway, again, it is not lined up and hard to know if it's bent or what have you, but not great. Anyway, let's go all the way up, all the way down, see what happens. So that is definitely going to be the longest. So that's how long I'm going to leave the hose right there. And I'm going to attach it to the piece of plastic. Hold on. Okay, so I think you can see how far it's sticking out. I'm going to go ahead and cut that off and cut it, and then cut the wire, and then attach the plastic piece on it. I have no idea how many years ago this died, but this was totally encrusted with crap. Probably the leftovers of the actual hose, because you can see it's all right here too. So let me go get that number 8 again, and a cutter is right here, but I need the knife. So we'll give it a little bit. We'll give it right to here. Because if you leave too much slack in, then like pieces of wood that get down stuck in there will jab through and create other drama. Come on. There we go. All right. Now I need to get this on. Tighten it too much, you'll buy a new piece. Ask me why I know. Not tight enough. Not tight enough. Pretty good. Okay. Nope, now we're back on. Okay. Oh boy. Run out of adjustment? Oh, well, that'll keep me from breaking it. Okay, so let's take the blade out and then put the blade cover on and then see what to do about this, because it's off by a lot. Yes. So good. 10 minutes later. And it's not perfect, but it's, I need to go higher. Could be better. I think she'll work fine. I officially know what's wrong with the tilt mechanism. So the tilt mechanism has a brass, what they call a bushing or a bushing bearing. It's worn out, but I don't know if it's available or not. So I'm not going to go through, I think I can take it out because they got like a little spot where you can go get it out, and I could probably do it. But I don't want to go through that and find out the part's not available, because it'll still work without it. It just won't be as nice. So I'm going to call on Monday. So that is something we might tackle later, but we're going to put this all back together and go about the rest of the time. So here we go. Ace Hardware for the win, Home Depot for the loss. Needed to get a set screw because I didn't want to pay for it from Felder. And anyway, long story short is they didn't have it at Home Depot. But we have a new Ace Hardware, so I'll be going there a lot. Need to polish this sucker up. So let me get it a little closer, because we don't want it to look all rusty and gross, do we? Much nicer. Okay, and then we got the nice little handle that'll go on there. It'll help us decide where we want to put this. I don't know why there's this, but it seems pretty exciting. Oh, look. They even explain how to put it together. I guess they know you're ordering this, you screwed something up. So as you can see, this little piece of rod is what's on the other side. So I'm going to move it so that I get it that it'll be like this. It wants to roll up like that, and then it drops down into the slot that's in the table. So what I need to do is get this a little bit into this hole right here of this particular piece of plastic. And then when I do that, I can kind of continue to get it into the other part. So let's see. See how I can do. Oh, probably too far. Ooh, very close. I may have to loosen this one up a little bit. Now we can push this down a little farther without having to worry about it, to make our lives easier. And then we can reduce that other one. Move it over. Nope. wasn't even tight. Goes on the other way, like that. Okay, and this goes there. A little bit of a gap so it can move. And this keeps it from going any farther, but let's get it to go through this other one first before we get ahead of ourselves. So you set the thing at 90 degrees. So it's like this. So when you rotate it up, it loosens it up, right? So this is a little loose. I'm going to give it a little bit, yeah. Okay, so let's lower it down. Set the set screw. Good and tight. Set this set screw. Set this one. Set the other two. See how she works. That's how it's supposed to work. Now let's see if it locks. Well, that's not right. Locked in. Unlocked. Moves. Locked in. Result. Getting a sliding table saw to cut straight. Whole nother thing. All kinds of videos out there. 5-cut method. Blah, blah, blah. All very worthwhile. But I'm just trying to see how close this was from the people who gave it to me originally. I think I've got this crosscut set up exactly how they had it. I'm gonna give myself more chance to be accurate by raising the blade a little bit more. Only thing I've got going against me is I think it's possible this will be in my way a little bit, but we'll see. And then let's try to see how close this is already. So I'm gonna say, man, that's probably pretty damn close. And that is a beautiful edge. So we'll use that up against here first. And see how this goes. Somehow it got locked. It's not supposed to get locked. Okay, now let's see what happens. Okay, we're good. That is not square. We go this way, I think, a tad bit. It's not great to turn the saw on and off and on and off, single phase. So from now on, I'll probably just leave it on. dust collection seems pretty good, I have to say. That seems to be dead nuts. So I'm going to try to loosen this up, rotate it, and adjust it so this is dead against the back of that. I don't know why they have it rotated down, honestly, because that is the stop. You don't want it too high. If you have it too high, then when you don't have it on and you're using it for support, you run into stuff. But I don't understand why they don't have it at least up a little bit. Episode 2, part 2. So I wanted to just go over this really quick as I can because the saw is basically done at this point. So I've redone the tables. I've redone everything that I could do on the inside, the outside. You guys have all seen all that. And done as much mechanical work as it needs to have done. It's in great shape, works great, motor's strong, starts and stops like a champ. And electrically, we're perfect on this thing, and it's put back to the way it should have been from the factory. So a couple of things to go over with is, first of all, the size of this thing. So the size is, if you're going to go from the end of the bar of the rip fence to this adjuster for the tilt of the blade, we're talking 73 inches total. And then if we're going to go from the front to the back of the cast iron to the bar, we're talking 40 inches that way. And then it's about 51 inches total that direction because it'll rip to 52 inches that way. If you're talking about the actual outrigger, the outrigger is 38 inches. And then if you add on the distance of the crosscut fence, that gets us to 56 inches that way. And then if you wanted to give me the total footprint, including the outrigger and the crosscut fence, we're about 130 inches or so total. But what I want to say is that, remember, this crosscut and this outrigger come off. It's just one kip lever and the whole thing comes up and it's off. And now you have the footprint of 73 inches, which I would argue is pretty much smaller than most full-size cabinet saws with a 52-inch rip. So, and then if you go this direction, we're talking about 87 inches from the length, the beginning of the slider, all the way to this round holder on the back side over here. And if you take off this round holder, it's probably somewhere around 82 inches, give or take. Remember, we got the slider all locked and ready to go, and the slider's in great condition. So this is going to be perfect for me, and I'm excited to use it for the next few months until the new saw shows up. So let me tell you about the price. So I bought this used from that shop for $2,000. Thought it was a fair price. I didn't know what I was getting into, and we didn't know if the parts were available or if the adjustments, like I had said before, for the rise fall of the blade or tilt of the blade were ever going to be what they needed to be. But we got that solved. Needed to rent a trailer, so that was $45 to rent the trailer. The parts from Felder, total, all in, including many of them cosmetic, including a new guard, etc., were $480, including shipping. A lot of, again, some of those were cosmetic. I didn't change the belts. Those are in a bag for whoever the next owner might be. If they want to use the scoring blade, etc., that's all for them. The powder coating was $295 for the 2 outfeed table, or sorry, I guess rip tables, and then changing this from orange to gray. That was a little more than I expected. They kind of charged me more at the last minute, but they came out great, so that's fine. Miscellaneous parts. I needed a lot of small screws and things to complete this that weren't there, that I wanted to fix it and do it with. That was about $30, maybe a little less, I don't know. Well, probably a little less. And then I had to order the capacitors for it to replace the capacitors. 30 bucks or so for the capacitors. So my total outlay was about $2,900 so far, plus if I order anything for here, which I think is a great deal. I would have paid that for a saw stop with no slider, used saw stop with no slider, or pretty much anything here in Southern California. The sliders that are that come up in Southern California are usually 3-phase, and they're usually a lot bigger, and they start in that $4,500 range, give or take. And so I think this is a great deal for a single-phase, small slider, and it's going to work amazing for me. So I wanted to say thanks for watching. I know this has been a long video. There's going to be a lot of sped up stuff in this. And thanks for being patient and sticking it to the end. from now on, we'll get into building stuff and go from there. So thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.